Coming up on UCF Nightly News, UCF SGA presidential elections are in full swing. The Nicholson School of Communication held its 4th debate, and we'll show you the highlights.
We also sat down with current SGA President Weston Bays to find out how students are engaged with the current administration.
And State Road 50 is causing more headaches with construction. Find out when it will be done and what commuters have to say.
You're watching Nightly News covering the university community and the greater Orlando area.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Bree McNaught.
And I'm Charles Baber. Today is Friday, March 27th.
You may have noticed SGA candidate signs all over campus. Well, it's that time of year again.
The 4th annual Nicholson debate took place in our studio on Tuesday evening. Nightly News reporter Vanessa Rodriguez brings us highlights, key points, and responses from the 2015 SGA debate.
A new student government cabinet will take office in May, but who are the prospective candidates running for office? Moderator Devin Cafaro asked each team a total of 10 questions. Each group began by explaining why they are the most qualified to represent you in office.
I would definitely say that our platform is something that we've looked at over the years. We've kind of seen what has worked and what hasn't worked.
Specifically, we've looked at a lot of input from students, and then I've met with directors all across campus and given them those inputs and said, how can we get this accomplished for the students?
We understand what employers are looking for, and we see where SGA and UCF is lacking. So we bring the perspective from the outside, and we want to bring it to the inside.
The next question addressed the issue of student safety. With the recent criminal activity on and around campus, how does each platform plan to keep students safe?
If they want UCF PD off campus, we want to be able to work with Orange County, the City of Orlando, and the UCF PD right here to make sure that students feel comfortable and they feel like they're getting the response time they need and that they feel safe coming here.
There's areas of campus right now when it's dark, it's literally pitch black. I've talked to officers around campus and they said that the biggest thing is having eyes on campus, meaning that if there's light there, there's a lot less of a chance for any kind of criminal activity to occur.
One of our main platform points is a program to give students the ability to report harassment on campus. Yes, safety is important on and off campus, but SJ hasn't done anything right now to protect students' rights not to be harassed.
At different points throughout the debate, all 3 candidates acknowledged that there is an obvious disconnect between SGA and the student body. And all 3 agreed that transparency is the only way to build trust with students. Making the SGA website more user-friendly and holding monthly town hall meetings are just some of the candidates' new ideas. Nearing the end of the debate, the teams gave their closing statements. The ongoing theme is the importance of reaching out to students and allowing their voices to be heard. In Orlando, Vanessa Rodriguez, UCF Nightly News.
To watch the full debate, log on to our website at nightlynews.ucf.edu. Voting for the SGA general election starts Monday, March 30th and runs through Wednesday, April 1st.
Students can vote one of 2 ways. Sign on to my.ucf.edu or vote in person outside of the student union. This will be the first year where SGA presidential candidates cannot give out free items while campaigning. But the SGA Elections Commission is allowed to give out food and promotional materials to voters. You will find them outside of the student union.
It's more of a neutral zone, a friendly zone. We do encourage the students to be informed about their platforms and such, but it's a place where they can come and they can just have a pressure-free zone and vote.
With SGA elections right around the corner, how much do students know or even care about those in charge? Nightly News reporter Tom Ebel spoke to students to find out just how engaged they are with their student government.
When it comes to the importance of SGA, most students' response is quite similar.
It's probably very important.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things that nobody really thinks about, but obviously it's very important.
But when asked questions about who their current SGA president is or how much money SGA controls, their responses were also similar.
I know I voted for them, but I don't know which one.
I wouldn't even know them if I saw them on the street.
This election will be the first where candidates are not allowed to offer incentives like pizza. With that being said, how will that affect voter turnout? SGA election records show that voting turnout has declined by almost 50% since 2012. One presidential candidate is running on the fact that SGA is broken. Almost 20 years ago this month, UCF actually disbanded SGA due to illegal use of funds. President Bays says he's done all he can to make sure his administration maintains integrity.
We've been open and trying to be transparent. Transparency is definitely a key thing to me, and I think to everyone in SGA, because everyone does work very hard and they want to make sure that they do everything by the book and make sure that it's done in a correct manner.
Bays also stressed how important it is for students to vote and be informed on all of SGA's activities.
If students really want to make sure that their money is going where they want it to go, then come out to the elections, voice your opinion, and if you don't like something, then change something. And I think that's a great process of democracy, and we try and do that very well.
The SGA presidential elections begin March 30th and run through April 1st. In Orlando, Tom Ebel, UCF Nightly News.
President Bays told Nightly News that he doesn't plan to be a lame duck president and that SGA representatives will be at the state capitol in early April.
And while students here at UCF can vote online, voting could get a little easier for Floridians. A bill in the legislature that would allow online voting registration passed through its first committee on Tuesday. This bill allows new voters to apply online and provide information electronically. If passed, the online system will not be available until October 1st, 2017. The governor's office issued a new gag order this month, and some Floridians say it has them upset. Florida Center for Investigative Reporting says Governor Rick Scott ordered the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to not use the terms climate change or global warming. But UCF environmental students say they disagree with Scott.
Make changes and solutions to these issues if they're not allowed to talk about them. How can you fix an issue if you're not even allowed to speak about it?
The governor's office continues to deny the reports. So since I can't say climate change, I guess I'll say this weather change really has my immune system messing up.
Sorry, you're a little bit under the weather, Bree, but it's supposed to be feeling pretty nice this weekend, right, Natalie?
Well, this weekend is actually looking great, you guys. And as far as climate change goes, I really wish I could have changed the climate this week, because it has been all over the place, lots of rain and clouds. But today we're looking all right. It's about 75 degrees outside right now, with the wind coming in at 17 miles an hour from the southwest. Humidity is at 63% with an 80% chance of rain, so it's going to rain all day today. But this weekend is looking awesome, so later on in the half hour, you guys are going to want to stay tuned so we can look at what's coming up throughout the weekend and as we come back.
Thanks, Natalie. Sounds great.
When we come back, construction on State Road 50 is causing congestion and headaches, and we'll find out where local Oviedo businesses are being forced to relocate.
Also, activists are seeing results after protecting a downtown Orlando park. Stay tuned.
Construction on State Road 50, also known as Colonial Drive, continues to bring traffic to a standstill during the afternoon rush. The project manager says there isn't much to do to ease the congestion, and the construction won't be finished for at least 2 more years. Senior project manager Jeff Scales says the project will widen State Road 50 from State Road 408 to Lake Pickett Road from 4 lanes to 8. The project was already delayed 150 days because of utility work. The Florida Department of Transportation estimates it will completely be finished by March of 2017.
State Road 50 has been under construction for the past few months, but it's gotten a whole lot worse in the last 2 weeks. I went out and captured the sights and sounds of frustration.
It's been hard to get a good attitude about it, honestly, because we are being forced to leave really against our will. I wouldn't have chosen.
Daily basis, nightmare.
It's real bad. Every days, all days, and in the morning and the night.
I wait in traffic almost an hour to get home every day when it would take me 15 minutes to get home from school. That light right over there it let 3 cars go. The traffic's made it even worse, so it takes like an hour just to get right across the street.
Like sometimes like the decision to go out is based on how bad traffic is.
I change my route. I take the long way to work.
And I, quite frankly, am tired of all the construction crews not cleaning up their mess. I've been pulling screws out of my tires, and it's just a long commute. It makes it frustrating for everyone.
Long term, it'll be very beneficial to have the bigger road and more traffic and more cars moving through here every day.
The project management company says the project is at its worst point for drivers right now. But the company says things will get slightly better once the current phase of construction wraps up in about 6 to 8 months. In the meantime, use Lake Pickett Road and Lake Underhill as alternate routes.
Last week, Nightly News told you how the downtown Oviedo construction is affecting the town's residents and the iconic chickens. And now even more local business owners say the transition is not easy. The Florida Department of Transportation is paying local business owners to move or to rebuild in a different location to make room for the new roads. This is the popular Townhouse restaurant in downtown Oviedo, and this is where the new location just a few hundred feet away will open up in a couple of months.
It's been hard to get a good attitude about it, honestly, because we are being forced to leave really against our will. I wouldn't have chosen to do this.
Tepper says the downtown townhouse will take many of its unique characteristics to its new location.
Orlando's Mayor Buddy Dyer is pledging to do everything in his power to protect a historic tree near downtown Orlando. Last week, we brought you the story about plans to develop Constitution Green Park. And now 5,000 people have signed a petition to protect the nearly 200-year-old live oak. The city of Orlando has leased the privately owned land from the Caruso family since 1987. City officials are considering plans to purchase the land or relocate the tree.
So I guess that's what's happening here in Oviedo and Orlando, but I wonder what's going around in the world here today.
Kelsey Walker has our national news. Kelsey?
Thanks, Charles. A 35-year-old mother of 2 Detroit children found dead in a freezer is due in court. Officers arrested Michelle Blair after serving her an eviction notice on finding the bodies in her freezer. Prosecutors believe they died 2 years ago. Officers say a family member now has temporary custody over Blair's other 2 children. At least 1 person is dead after dangerous tornadoes touched down in Oklahoma on Wednesday. The National Weather Service believes this is the first death caused by a tornado this year. The storm left destruction and nearly 75,000 people were without power Wednesday night. And in international news, the investigation on the crash of Germanwings Flight 9525 on Tuesday is ongoing. The flight from Barcelona, Spain to Dusseldorf, Germany went down in the French Alps on Tuesday. Germanwings says the co-pilot Andres Lubitz locked the pilot out of the cockpit just before the crash. Germanwings officials say they have to accept that the plane crashed on purpose. 18 countries, including the U.S., had residents aboard the flight, and all 144 passengers and 6 crew members are presumed dead. That's it for national news. Back to you guys, Bree and Charles.
Thanks, Kelsey. After the break, find out what legislation will ban people from public bathrooms.
And learn how UCF is eliminating its carbon footprint. Stay with us.
A Florida bill that will ban transgender people from using their preferred public bathrooms has now made its way through its second committee.
Reporter Jessica Gottlieb tells us what
unnecessary,
this could mean for UCF Knights and Floridians.
Forcible.
If HB 583 passes, people who enter public facilities designated for members of the other biological sex could face up to 60 days in jail and a $500 fine. The bill would affect students at both private and public universities.
If this bill passed, it would be illegal for me to use a women's restroom. I can't really go into a men's restroom like I dress either. It would just be, frankly, less safe.
The bill's sponsor, Frank Artilis, a Miami Republican, claims the bill is not meant to discriminate but to ensure public safety. But Equality Florida officials say this bill is a cover-up for transphobia.
Yeah, there's already 20 Florida statutes that criminalize, illegal and unwanted activity in public restrooms throughout Florida. What this really does is place trans people in danger.
This bill requires trans people, if questioned in a restroom, to show documentation to prove their medical transition, what can be a long and expensive process.
Despite being further along, I'd feel less comfortable using the appropriate restroom. No matter how far along I get, I'd still have that fear that someone's going to say, "Show me your papers."
UCF has 12 gender-neutral restrooms around campus, allowing trans students a private and safe space. QTIC says after leaving such a forward campus, she and many others will have to risk the law to keep from risking their personal safety, just to use the restroom. Reporting in Orlando, Jessica Gottlieb, UCF Nightly News.
In order to become law, the bill's Senate companion would also need to be filed before being signed by Governor Rick Scott. UCF's Transgender Week of Visibility begins on Monday.
Do you know someone who's always stressed like me? New research shows their stress could affect you. A recent St. Louis University study found that stress could be contagious. It suggests that being around somebody who is stressed out can trigger higher stress levels. Researchers say some solutions are meditation and exercise. The Princeton Review just released its top 25 list of graduate schools in the nation for game design, and 2 Central Florida schools made the cut. UCF is number 2 on the list for the second year in a row, and Full Sail University in Winter Park also made the top 25.
A light bulb went off for UCF facilities management. The campus is starting its transition to LED lighting. Officials from UCF Utilities and Energy Services say the goal is to have 90% of buildings lit by LEDs. The Department of Energy says LEDs decrease wattage by 75% and last 25 times longer than incandescents, saving the university on energy and maintenance costs. Officials say the transition should be complete within 3 years. We've even made the transition over to LED lights right here in the Nicholson School of Communication studio.
Over spring break, a couple of very nice professors came in and changed all of our old tungsten lights.
There are 30 new LEDs in the studio. They use about 23,000 watts fewer than our old lights. The lights are supposed to last for 50,000 hours. That's more than 2,000 days.
And you know, it keeps the temperature in here a lot cooler, so I'm definitely a fan of it.
Yeah, I really like it, but like it in here. How's it looking outside, Natalie?
Well, it's definitely cooler in here, but it's also getting a little bit cooler outside. And if you want to look, we're getting a little bit cooler. It's 77 right now in Orlando. Tampa's at 73. Tallahassee's over here at 67, and Jacksonville's at 68. Miami's a little warm, so if you're looking to go to Ultra Music Festival or any of the Winter Music Conference events, you're going to have some great weather down south. But if you want to look at our national temperatures map, it's actually looking really great. Florida's just in that orange. It's not too hot, but it's just right. Up here it's getting pretty cold, and I think they might be the only ones who have snow right now, but nobody's doing too bad, so spring is coming and it's on its way and it's in full force. And if you want to look at what the weather looks like around the country, Florida is getting a lot of rain today. It should be raining most of the day. And as well all up and down the East Coast and stuff. And if you look, we've got a lot of snow over here coming through here, and that's going to be pushing in all of these temperatures into Florida. All of these cooler temperatures into Florida, but nobody has ice, which is great news for some people who might be traveling. I know someone in our newsroom is going over to West Virginia, so she should be looking good. It just might be a little wet and a little bit cold. And if you want to look at our 5-day forecast, this is what I was talking about earlier. I mean, this weather is my kind of weather. It's nice and cool. We've got 48 on Saturday as the low, and the high is 70. So if you want to go to the Lake Eola Farmers Market or the Winter Park Farmers Market this weekend, it's a great time to do that. 56 on Sunday is the low. And it looks like it's going all the way through into Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we start to get right back up there at 83. And a 20% chance of rain, but not much of a chance of rain throughout the week. So that's all I have for you guys at home right now. But Bree and Charles, back to you guys.
Thanks, Natalie. I'm really excited for a weekend of good weather, Charles.
Me too.
Up next, Lila Altouni has our UCF sports update.
She'll tell us about some sports club teams that are on the road to success.
Good afternoon, Knights fans. I'm Lila Eltuni, and here's your weekly UCF sports update. It's been a week of away games out on the mound. UCF's baseball team went up against Jacksonville Dolphins on Tuesday. Despite a ninth-inning grand slam by sophomore Matt Diorio, the team lost 13-9. The number 6 Knights will look to redeem themselves at home tonight against Houston at 8 p.m. And the UCF softball team faced FIU on Wednesday and improved its record once again. The Knights defeated the Panthers 8-3, and after another win yesterday, the ladies are on a 5-game winning streak. They competed against the FAU Owls in Boca Raton with a final score of 2-0. UCF accomplished its 15th shutout of the season. And softball's not the only team that's making hard hits out there. The UCF men's rugby club is on its way to the National Division I AA Championships. The team will play in the South Independent Rugby Conference in hopes of qualifying for the Sweet 16 in Pittsburgh. The reigning 2-year champions have high hopes for this year but are trying to stay humble. Captain and 8-man Scott Waters believes his team is up for the challenge.
I expect a lot of these people to step up, a lot of the players to step up, and I believe we can do it again. I believe we can bring it home in the 3rd national championship.
The men still have some time to practice as their first game is April 6th. That's all the time we have for sports. Back to you, Charles and Bree.
Thanks, Lila. Joining us now in the studio is Camila and Melissa. Can you guys give us an update of what's going on in the second half hour?
Yeah, we actually have a sneak peek of some fashion highlights coming up and Women's National History Month.
Awesome. We can't wait. That's all the time we have for now, guys. Thanks for joining us.